So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar.
Yes. And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast One Season Wonders Kid Nation edition. And we're on episode 9, over halfway through. And these kids still suck. Down with town council every episode.
I
love this show, though. This show is hilarious.
The longer we go, the more I'm like, what was their goal? Like, there is no way children can make a better world.
I want to know how it ends. Like, are they like, you succeeded? Are they like, you failed? I have to know.
It has been so many years since I've watched this because we've waited to watch it together that I don't remember how it ends. I know some highlights. Like, I'm still waiting for one thing to happen, and I thought it was going to happen here soon, but it doesn't. And I don't know. Like, what is Mr. Bonanza going to say? Like, great job, you all. You tried.
Are we going to see them leave? Or are they just going to end it with a big cheer? And then, like, do I get to see them go to the planes and, like, on to their parents? Because we already see their parents. I am so excited for this show. Every episode, I laugh out loud. I've never dove deeper into a show than I have this show.
They got some good characters.
The knowledge I have to share in that last episode.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Thrilled. I might have to divide it up. It just depends. Anyway, before we get into the actual episode, we have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Patreon. Check us out on all those things. The Instagram and TikTok are also _ podcast. The Patreon is also similar to that. I don't know anything. Meredith's in charge here. I just show up. But all the links are in our description, so you can go find us there. Super easy.
Very easy.
Because people like me don't know and can't tell you. So here's how you can find it. Anyway, Meredith, down with town council. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
I watched these episodes a little while ago, but I remember being fired up.
I bet you were. So, previously on Kid Nation, the kids were desperate for entertainment, and so some of them took to the streets for some fun. The town council, Laurel, Anjay, Guyland, and Zach set up a talent show, and Savannah thought about leaving, but Kennedy, her best friend, tried to cheer her up. Green finally got that upper class spot.
Woo!
But Yellow didn't finish the showdown in time, and so they lost the reward.
Fuck Yellow.
The talent show convinced Savannah to stay, and Kennedy got the gold star for raising town morale. She's the fourth kid in Green to win it, and so will the gold stars and upper class go to the Green district's head? And can the council keep the town fun and fair?
And can Olivia do her Jerry Seinfeld impression again? Find out this week on Kid Nation. It's like Big Brother, but it's not.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, let's do this. Let's start. Everyone's jealous of this Green team.
Honestly, it's day 25, and 4 people in the Green team have gold stars, and they are showing them off. They are bragging about them.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but they're doing it in the middle of town.
There's
they're dancing with them.
else to do.
That is true. That they're doing a catwalk and showing off these little stars.
There's nothing else to do. And then I thought, would you, because it really doesn't, would you want to be on the Green team at this point? Because you could be on the Green team and be starless, or you could be on another team and be one of many starless. You know what I mean? I was I don't know if I'd want to be on the Green team or
You're saying being on the Green team and starless is a little bit harder because you are the lower class within the Green team.
Yeah, you're good, but you're not great. And then I was watching this and I was like, oh, I wish I was on the Green team. And I was like, no, I'm not. They're always the fucking lower class doing nothing.
True. And you have people who work hard. So the little that you work actually is a bigger disparity because there are a lot of hard workers on Green. Whereas if you were on Yellow with Taylor and you did a little bit more than Taylor, you look incredible.
Yeah, just always thinking. But the Green team seems fun. I think the age of the Green team, the medium age of 12 or maybe 13 for the Green team, that's the ideal age to go on Kid Nation.
Well, I also think it's because they all are the same age, basically, that it makes it more fun. Like, they can all be friends because they can relate more versus, Mallory on Blue to Greg's age on Blue.
That's why Greg hates this fucking town. The worst. All right, go.
Well, we have some people talking about how, like, everybody is equal in this town, whether you get a gold star or not. And
Yeah, we're all cleaning the same toilets.
I do and I don't believe that. Like, I would feel superior if I did have a gold star.
I would too, in the sense that I have something and you don't.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it's worthless in this town. Like, you're still gonna, if you're the green team, you're still scrubbing my toilets because you're always in last place.
Hey, you enjoy that 20K later, go clean my toilet now.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right, too. I would be more mad if, like, I was Pharaoh and my parents actually, like, needed the money and then you're bragging about how you have 20,000. Or, like, Greg obviously kind of needs the money more than, like, Mallory does, right?
Definitely.
Or so we think.
Even Blaine. Blaine kind of looked a little rich in his home, like, family home, like, the call to home. His house looked pretty nice. I don't think Greg's living that lavish life.
I think Blaine's a little more posh than
yes
Greg.
Yes,
he's a little more refined than fucking Greg. but I think, like, as a kid you're aware, and then when you're around kids who have more than you, it can be awkward. And then when they win $20,000, it's like, some kids I can't tell, like Sophia I would guess more like middle class family, and like Michael. But there are Taylor, you're not gonna tell me she doesn't come from fucking money.
I think that might go into the effort of people trying to win the gold star too. Like, Pharaoh really has told us that he would need the money for just everyday bills, and Greg wants it for college. Whereas, like, this is just an assumption, but it just doesn't seem like Taylor really needs more to add to her college fund.
Nathan wanted it for piano lessons. It's just different.
Yes.
When you're like, I too come from a middle class family, and I would probably be like, I can't wait to buy toys with this, right? Like, because it wasn't like a money thing in my house, but I also know that my parents weren't like rolling in dough. So I'd be like, I can't wait to buy myself toys so my parents don't have to.
Correct. Like, I can't wait to treat myself and maybe put like 10K to college. Wow, that's just a bonus. But it's not like I'm like, wow, I can't go to college unless I get this 20K.
Yeah. So I don't know why we're talking about the class structure in America again, but go on.
It plays into this Kid Nation. They go, the town council goes and reads the journal, and while they may have been living in this town for a while, there's probably people who are and are not as strong and work hard, and some who don't. There's clearly a disparity in who everybody is and how they show up to this town.
Hell yeah.
And so they discuss how some districts are also probably working harder than others. And the book recommends that they actually mix up the districts. And I was like, I love this.
Yes. Now, how they do it, terrible. But idea is there.
I thought, because we'll get to what they do, I thought it was going to be a completely redraft, and I thought they were going to stand there like we wanted from the beginning. And
I thought we were picking teams.
Call the kids out. Maybe they did it in front of them. Maybe they didn't and did it behind closed doors. But I was thinking a whole redraft.
Yep. I was like, it's like whatever, fantasy football time, pick your teams.
Yep.
Let's do. That is what I thought. And I was like, I'm thrilled. This will be amazing.
Wait for the shakeup. Now, because I have watched this, I knew that wasn't what was going to happen. But I was like, damn, they really should do a complete shakeup.
They probably could have. I think the town council was just like, we'll do one. No, fuck you guys. Everyone or nothing.
Because they have mixed reviews. So Zach and Guylan think this is a great idea, which makes sense. I think they're the ones who hate their teams the most.
God, Zach could murder his whole team. He would.
Laurel doesn't think it's a good idea at all.
Obviously, yes.
And
which is surprising, though, because she keeps losing. So you'd think maybe like one or two people.
Yeah, but I think she would rather lose and like the people she's with than win and hate the people she has to
And I get it.
Rule.
Green has a great thing going.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. I mean, we'll get to it later. But I understand where Laurel is coming
Her
from.
hesitation, yeah.
Yeah.
Andre just knows that this is like dynamite waiting to happen. And I was like, yeah, this is about to blow up the town.
Everyone's going to lose their minds. Shut the fuck up, Andre.
We see a little bit of the town, and Markel asks Emily to go get water And she immediately is like, absolutely not. I hate this red team. I do not want to work with them. I do not want to help them. I'm not doing anything.
Is Emily the chicken girl?
Yes.
It's terrible, yeah. I mean, I feel bad Colton threatened to rip her tongue out, but...
Yeah, not okay. But go get some water, Emily.
Just, yeah, what else do you do? What else? That is my thing. I understand we don't want to do chores, but what else is there in this world? What are we
being
doing?
Bored during summer. Like, there's nothing to watch on TV, but it's better than like going to play outside sometimes in the heat.
It's literally to the point though that when your mom's like, "Hey, do you want to come grocery shopping with me?" You're like, "Yeah, anything."
That's true. Well, the town council goes and redrafts what I think is going to be redrafting people, but they don't. They discuss their goals, and Andre just wants to prove himself. So he needs a kid who doesn't really want to do anything. Not Taylor level. We're not going to go that far where we have to actually lead and like get somebody to work. So he's going to go with Emily, who we just saw doesn't want to work.
He goes, "Give me Emily." No, you're such a... Like, I just want to squeeze Anjay and be like, who are you proving what to?
Who cares what Olivia says?
But your future college application is going to be like, I picked the most difficult girl in Kid Nation to be on my team when I was 12. No, fuck you. Don't make it more difficult for yourself.
Way too hard and like way too seriously. It's not that deep.
Anjay's an overachiever. We know.
But he's not actually good at it, which is the funniest part. Terrible. He just wants the resume.
Listen, some people are really good at overachieving in school. Some people are really good at overachieving in social situations. You could be both, but you can't be perfect at both.
No. Well, Zach's goals are that he needs some smart kids like Nathan, or some hard workers like Greg and Blaine.
He's like, I have a dumb, weak team.
Which is like, it's true. Taylor picked all the little kids.
Taylor picked all the dumb weaklings.
Oh my God. Anjay
all the stupid kids.
And Anjay thinks it's really smart to split up Greg and Blaine. And I agree, just from a strength perspective. I don't think they're bad together as kids. Like
they are.
They are, but they're not horrible. It's truly the strength that you need to split up.
But those two, if two, like, rebel kids, I don't want to say bad kids, but like, non-rule followers get together, they're gonna break rules. Like, they're gonna go against the grain.
Well, Laurel cannot see her district being split up, and everybody else thinks it's so selfish. And I was like, literally, it is.
Yeah, it is selfish. And that's why if I was Laurel, I would be like, we need the best and most fair way to do this. Because people are coming for her team. They're coming for Sophia and Michael. They're coming for Top Dogs. So the best way to do it is to say, put them all in, right? We're doing a full redraft.
Yeah.
And then the three boys are going to go for Greg. They're going to go for Blaine. They're going to go for other people first. And Laura will be able to pick some of her green team back. And then, you might lose a few stragglers. But like... For Laurel, best case would have been putting everyone back into the pile to pick because...
And her focusing on her top, four.
Yeah, if she only traded like Michael, green team hates her, Michael hates her, right? So at that point you go, everyone should be up for grabs and we redraft.
Oh, to like protect herself from Green's wrath?
Protect herself from Green's wrath. Protect herself from all the kids' wraths because everyone's going to be like pissed, which it happens. But also to be able to pick some of her team back. Yeah,
that makes sense. And the rest of the town council says their goal is not one perfect district and 3 bad ones. Like, they need to make a better town. And I think that's so true. Like, Laurel is only focused on her district just being happy.
Yep.
And that's just not fair. I think it's at least they should have been able to request one person and said, I want to get rid of one person. Like, one in, one out.
At the least. Yeah, I think everyone should have done equal. Because then I don't know if the teams are like equal number wise.
They're not, because a few kids have gone home.
Oh, you're right. And who knows I guess it started with 40. But a few kids have gone home. There were like multiple trades to one team and from one team on this whole thing.
Yeah.
So like, I really was wishing they put everyone in. It like drove me mad that they didn't do a full clean slate. That's what I wanted.
They go to the town and they tell everybody about how there's going to be some changes, and everyone immediately freaks out before even hearing what's going on. Because they probably think it's a full redraft as well.
Better. Because then, too, think about it. If you have two people who are really good friends, you could also be like, okay, put them on a team together. And like,
yeah.
You could strategically make the whole town better.
1,000%. And
could.
honestly, it would have caused you to like get to know new people. And that would have been entertaining for the next like 10 days we have to go here.
I also just want to talk about how low stakes this is because they all live in the same town still. So I was like, whatever. It's so low stakes. But Meredith, tell us what actually happens.
Well, they announce the changes, and Guylan gets up first for Red, and he says that they need some smart people, so they're taking Nathan. And people immediately freak out. Like, Red is pissed. They don't want Nathan. He's not a team player. Like, he just does his chores on his own.
You would have thought they were in the Oregon Trail and all their cows died.
Yeah.
You would have thought they all got whatever, like, pneumonia or whatever it was on those cards. Like,
here's the thing. We
burned all their clothes.
No matter what town council says, people are typically pissed, which I actually kind of appreciate that energy of fuck them all the time, no matter what decision they make.
It was hilarious how high stakes this was for these kids. And I get it, again, because, like, well, for Red Team, you're just gaining one person that, like, no one really even... Like, he's not doing anything. What team did Nathan come from? The Blue Team. The Blue Team didn't even like Nathan. Greg, 2 episodes ago, was bullying this kid into oblivion. So, like,
I don't think Blue's mad to lose him. I think Red's mad to take him because he's kind of antisocial, as we know. And
so ignore him. Like, so he exists now in your bunk. Who cares? True. You guys all eat the same food. You guys all use the same restroom.
With every other district.
Yeah. You guys all eat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like, okay, Nathan's there.
You already had to exist around him, yeah.
It's literally the same. What, he sleeps there now?
You have to move your bed 3 inches over to make a little bit of room for this kid?
You do one showdown with this guy who might help you win? Like, what's the stake with Nathan? I don't...
No idea.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
So
I didn't understand it.
Anjay says that they're going to choose somebody who doesn't click with their district, and they choose Emily. Emily is thrilled to be getting away from her district.
Greg's so mad. But she hugs that Natasha girl.
I saw that.
Natasha didn't hug back. It was the weirdest thing. But I think they're friends.
I think Emily probably has better relationships maybe with Blue than she does Red. She clearly hates Red.
Yeah, great. So Blue's a little pissed off. Red's thrilled now. But, like, again, what Emily slows you down in a challenge once in a while? Like, what's the stake here? I have to know.
I have no idea.
What are we mad about? Okay, go on.
Well, we move on, and Zach for Yellow says that they really need some manpower, which is true because everybody is probably under 4 feet at this point.
Taylor doesn't even weigh 50 pounds.
And we welcome Blaine, and you would have thought you shot Greg's mom in front of him because
literally we just killed all your puppies. I get why Blue is mad, but
absolutely.
With that being said, if our goal is to build a better town, but Blaine's kind of happy. First of all,
well, he's not mad. Let's just say that
because
Greg is pissed.
It's low stakes. Blaine sees that. He's like, I just need to sit in a different bunk. What's happening?
Okay, so I play, the showdown for Yellow and not for Blue. Like, I have to do the showdown anyways. Like, what does it matter? And Greg says, you'll always have Blue in your blood. And I'm like, Jesus, he's not moving 7 towns over. This isn't like he's playing for a new football team and you guys can't win state now. It's Kid Nation.
It's Kid Nation. It'll be over in less than 20 days.
Yep.
And Blaine is my new guy. I hate Greg. I want everyone to know that officially. I hope he's the worst.
You're down with Greg?
Down with Greg. I am so pro Blaine. At this point, he says, I'm not mad. It's just a change. I understand it. It'll give me a chance to step out of Greg's shadow.
Yes.
That's maturity. He's 14 years old. He's known as Greg's pet. And I get that for Blaine. And now he's the oldest kid by a lot. He's going to be so respected. He's basically going to run this team.
Yep.
And what? He still has his best friend. He's still going to eat with his best friend. He's still going to hang out. Like, nothing changes for him.
I think Blaine sees this as such a huge opportunity to finally go after that gold star.
Yes.
Because, like you said, he was always in Greg's shadow, and
it's always Greg and
he
Blaine.
got a bad rap being
Hanging out
Greg
with Greg
all the time. So now this actually
Yes.
gives him some distance in the
Yeah.
showdowns and even with their chores. Like, they aren't going to be doing them hand in hand anymore. He
Yeah.
really can do a lot more.
He can step up, get the water. He could lead a
Yep.
team. He also might, I mean, Blaine is 14. Honestly, at this point, he needs to think of college. So he could write an essay about how he led a team that didn't do anything. And I know I just made fun of like Andre being like college, but Andre clearly has other shit going on and he's 12. Like, you got,
Well,
it's
Andre
okay.
is only doing action so he can write about this, whereas Blaine should take over an already given opportunity.
I think he wants to see what happens for himself. Because stakes are so low. If he fails, who cares? You know, like, maybe Blaine's an older brother. We don't know. Maybe he's really good with kids. Maybe he is a really good leader. Like, there's so much potential for Blaine. This drove me nuts. Okay.
Well, I don't think people had a right to be mad until Laurel announces that she is not having any change. And people freak out. Immediately, Blue starts screaming at Anjay, especially Greg, and they ask why Anjay got rid of Blaine, but Laurel didn't have to make any changes. Like, why didn't you stand up for our team? And I understand yelling at your town council leader for forcing changes you didn't want while one team doesn't have to make any.
Yeah, down with town council on that one. That was
Absolutely.
That was a really bad decision.
So we go and we
it can't get worse, but it can.
We start moving bunks, and Blaine goes and moves into yellow, and Greg tries to come with him, and they kick him out, which I thought was so funny. He's like, I'm sleeping here too. If Blaine's yellow, I'm yellow.
The yellow team was literally like, please don't, please. And the blue team is like, why couldn't someone have taken Greg? Like, everyone in this town hates Greg. He's a menace.
When Greg is doing great work, they like forgive him for his past sins, but you're just constantly on edge for Greg fucking shit up in this town.
It's like if you're a kid and you have a terrible, horrible like father, but he like provides the food and the money. You're like, I have to accept him, but I hate him.
That's so true.
You know, like, it's like, that is this toxic relationship. Like, Greg is the toxic parent who provides.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Like, as a kid, you can't be like, I'm gonna not take what my parents give me. But these kids have to. Greg's the one that carries the water. He's the one that is tall enough to reach the top shelf. Like, all the bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can't just say no. But at some point, you're gonna diss your dad. And so, like, get rid of Greg. Send him home.
Down with Greg.
Boo. Down with Greg. Down with town council.
So we see Emily moving, and she thinks that she's really going to pick up her work ethic. And I was like, I don't believe it, girly, but at least you're happy.
Someone was like, you have to work on this team. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to work so hard.
It's for a start. Like, she basically wants to be liked, I think, by these new girls on Blue. So she's going to say and do all the right things at the beginning.
Yeah, but those girls don't work either. Natasha and
That's
Nikolai,
true. That's a really good point.
Work. Yeah,
so Nathan also switches, and he thinks it's crazy, and he's actually really stressed to be going to the red team. Or yeah, he's on red now.
Yeah, the red team.
And one of the biggest reasons he's stressed out is because the red bunk has so much dust in it, and he's allergic to dust.
Oh my God, I felt for this dude. I'm allergic to dust too. I get it. This is me. I get it.
So we're in the red bunk, and everybody's yelling at Guyland for taking on Nathan. And Jared tells Guyland to lock his cell door at night. And I'm like, why are there cell doors in this bunk?
That was so funny. If Jared ever threatened me.
Jared, I think, is one of my favorite people on this entire planet.
He is unhinged. I swear to God, if Jared ever threatened me, I'd be like, are you sure, Jared? Are you sure?
I mean, Jared has a rightful cause to be upset having Nathan in their bunk, because he does say that Nathan sings when he goes to sleep. And as night comes on, we see the outside of the bunk and just hear Nathan singing, and they're all like, stop it!
Dude, I felt bad though. They were all like, right in front of Nathan. They're yelling,
I know.
"We don't want him here. We hate Nathan." I was like,
and it's
Nathan
not like it's Greg, like who
yeah,
has like a lot of self-confidence. It's Nathan who already feels like an outcast.
Well, Nathan stood there and took it, and then he just, I think, like walked away at some point. He's like, I don't want to be in this. But I would have been in tears.
It's so sad.
The whole bunk is like, fuck this guy right in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even here.
And you
Mike specifically.
it's not like you asked to become part of Red.
Dude, Mike specifically was like, no one wants Nathan here ever. And Nathan's like, okay.
I'm here. Where should I sleep?
Yeah, Nathan was literally like, can I just put my bags down and be gone? Like, he doesn't want to be here either. Bond over your mutual hatred for Gylan. Don't come at Nathan. I love Nathan.
Don't be
so
come mean so early, too. Like, give him a chance.
Nathan. No, literally.
Well, it's day 26 now, and it must be a Sunday because we meet Hunter, and he says that religion is a huge part of his life, and he's putting those religious books that we earned from our reward to use. And he
Mostly
has like a little prayer service, and a bunch of people meet and are like praying. Mike is one of those people, and he starts to realize during this that he feels really bad for picking on Nathan yesterday. And so after the prayer service, Mike and Nathan go for a walk, and Mike actually apologizes for his behavior.
I loved that. But like, yeah, my dude Nathan. Okay,
he just wants to fit in, and he says he's going to work for them. So let's hope it gets better.
Yeah, truly. Nathan's going to do most of the laundry. So like, is it a loss?
That's the thing. Literally. I don't think
you could have gotten Greg on your team.
Very
or
true.
Like Taylor, like literally.
It could be way worse.
Yeah, Nathan's top of the food bearer.
You got rid of Emily, who does nothing, and you gained Nathan, who does everything.
Red team won in that draft.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting ready for the showdown, and don't worry. Everybody still hates Anjay. He tries to give a pep talk where he talks in a metaphor about the Titanic, and Greg absolutely loses it on him.
Oh my God. Olivia has never been so happy.
Olivia was smiling so big during this entire thing.
Beaming. She is, if we're going to bully Anjay, she is first in line. She loves it.
If Anjay has no haters, Olivia's dead.
Olivia's dead.
Yep. So he honestly has no supporters, though. That is very clear. And Blue is very clear that they would like to see Anjay out of the town council.
Down with town council. Never be satisfied with your government. Never stop fighting for better.
Well, we are going to fight, that's for sure, because it's the showdown time. And this one is focused on equality and fairness, because we always have a little theme. So the goal is we have these like mine sleds and a bunch of rocks, and each district has to fill their mine sled with rocks, and then they have to navigate an obstacle course. But there's a catch. How many rocks do you actually want to load in there? You get to choose, but we will only earn the reward if the entire town drags 1 ton of rocks over the finish line.
Yeah.
And you cannot, once you start, you cannot add more rocks. So I know Laurel says at one point, like, hey, we should just put as many in there and then try to push it, and we can always dump them, which I do believe is a pretty smart idea, because you can never go back.
Yeah.
So they start the competition, and everybody's like loading their sleds up. And Yellow wants to leave really early, but Blaine says that's not fair, that they need to take some more rocks. They are the smallest team, but they should try a little bit more. Thank God they have Blaine now.
I love Blaine. Because if this was the old team, take 2 rocks and be done. You're not going to do much. Yellow team, we know. But like Blaine is here and he's like, I'll shoulder most of it. And the fact that he's the one that's going to have to work the hardest, and he's like, just put more rocks in it.
Well, that used to be their mentality, though, I think, is like, hey, we're the youngest, so we can get away with a lot more. But Blaine's like, hey, we can't do that now. Like, I'm on this team.
Yeah. I raised the median age.
By like 2.
If you average us out, it's me. I'm here.
I'm here now.
I'm 4 years older than the oldest person here.
Red says that they want to take as many as possible because they really want to help the town. And
amazing.
Green keeps loading theirs up. we get to the part where people start leaving for the obstacle course, and blue is the first out. And everybody's like, how many could they possibly have taken if they're the first
That's
team to leave?
ridiculous. You have the oldest kid, and then you got you got like a Mallory here and there. But Olivia's older. You're not gonna tell me she can't
They
hold her
have
weight
tall
in
enough
rocks.
kids.
You got tall kid. You got Anjay sitting in there. I'm blanking who else is in blue, but you got blue's a big team.
I would say blue and green have the oldest kids on
Yeah.
like average, and then red and yellow are pretty much the youngest, but red is above before Blaine. Red was above yellow with the ages slightly.
Yeah. I think red has more like, I don't
11,
want to
12 year
say,
olds.
yeah, I don't want to say like meteor kids, but they've
Mm.
got more muscle to them.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of boys, I think, more than yellow has.
that makes sense.
So I think, yeah, green and blue should be throwing pounds of rocks a second into
Yes.
their thing.
But
Specifically blue.
it's about fairness and equality. Are people going to be fair? They probably aren't. And so as they're doing the course, we know blue left first, and Greg is doing like the most work to get this sled through the obstacle course, which rightfully so. There was like a log they had to like go over, and Greg is just like shoving it over this log.
Yeah, duh.
And then Red is struggling really hard to pull their sled, and I just constantly think, how many rocks are in here? Like, are you struggling because you guys are weak, or are you struggling because you really tried to pull all of this weight? It's kind of hard to tell.
Green was smart. You should throw all the rocks in there and then slowly remove one or two and see if you get a little further and like see how far you can make it.
Especially because green is the last to leave. So I think if my team was the last to leave, like blue is clearly light years ahead. Like they're going to be upper class.
You already know you're last. Yeah, just.
If I was last, I would be like, let's try so hard to get this reward, because then everybody will love us. And if we're the laborers, I would say if we wanted basically for the town the reward, I would say everybody needs to help us be laborers over the next few days.
Agreed.
Well,
I'm here breaking my back for y'all. Yeah.
That is not what happens. So we see people cross the finish line. Blue is the upper class, and they kind of realize maybe they should have taken more. Like they finished light years ahead of people.
Oh, maybe we should have picked more smart people for blue.
Very true.
Dumbass Emily. Oh, you know who blue has are those older girls.
Yes.
Yeah, they're girls, but they're fucking 14. They can hold their weight in rocks. When I was 14, I was lifting weights. You're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Well, what's even crazier is yellow finishes second. They're the merchants. Thank God that they had Blaine.
Blaine muscled that thing. I don't even care that Greg did a lot for his team. Blaine with a bunch of 10-year-olds.
Yes.
He picked that sled up and was like, they got caught on something, and him and Zach were just in the back, like, muscling that thing. And
I was so proud.
Taylor, get out of the way. I was so proud of Blaine. So proud of him.
Green comes in third, and they're the cooks, and red is last with the laborers.
But they got rocks.
Yeah, they say that they took the most rocks, and that they will, they need support from everybody, and I get that. So we go into weighing rocks to see if we get that 1 ton. For the reward, blue has a 480, yellow 460.
Ooh.
Which I was like, okay, blue, like way to take 480. I really thought that they were going to have like 300 if you needed 500.
No, I think ideally if you're going to win this, blue needs to take over 500.
Yes.
Yellow can take slightly under 500 because they're a bunch of 10-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Green should have been exactly at 500, if not a little higher. And red should have been like right at 500 too. That's how I would have said that's how you're going to win this.
But
as soon as blue came under, I went, no way. They're not winning it.
We all thought that blue undertook anyways because they left so quickly. So I was like, okay, this is a good sign. The team that left the soonest and put what I thought would be the least amount of rocks in outside of yellow was 480. That means everybody has to be above 500. And it just keeps going down. Yellow, I think, well-deserved on their 460. They took more than I thought that they would.
Blaine carried 360 pounds of that by himself.
Absolutely. Green with the 420, I think, is the actually most disappointing.
Crazy.
Because they talked about how they should load up and they can always take some out. I was embarrassed to see that number.
Was crazy. Yeah.
And then red had 485, and that also disappointed me because
that was fine.
I think you could have done more.
I did love, though, when they're putting all their rocks in the weights, they strategically were trying to place them.
As
And
if it
I
would
was like,
change the
that's
weight.
not, that's like when you go to the doctor and you suck in on the
Yeah.
scale. Like, it's
Or
not
they're like
going
trying to
anywhere.
like throw them down so it like jumps up and it's like,
That at
hey.
least you're trying something. They were pyramiding like their rocks, and I was like, just throw them in. You got be done with it.
Well, they don't get that reward, as we know.
Yeah.
And Guyland says that it's kind of ridiculous because some people were too concerned with their status than getting the town reward.
Oh,
And
fighting words.
Sophia turns and cusses Guyland out. And I was like, damn, I want an unedited version. What do you think she said?
I looked it up. And I guess when I tell you I've looked up the show more
Love.
than I've done anything else in my life. A few people were like speculating that she probably said like fuck you Guyland. Someone thought maybe she said fuck you Gayland to be like gay, and that would have been because they were like, no way she just said like fuck you Guyland, and they like bleeped all of it out because you could leave Guyland in there, right? You could get
Yeah.
bleep you Guyland to like really give it. So people were thinking she maybe said Gayland because back in the day you couldn't say. I mean, you could say gay, but it was only
But-
used in derogatory ways.
Yeah.
Like now, and Gayland is a derogatory way to use the word gay.
Yes,
Anyway,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I looked it up though, and it looked like Sophia confirmed that she just said like "fuck you, Guyland," and they bleeped the whole thing out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted it to be more dramatic.
I wanted her to be like, what if she? Because I was like, why'd they bleep out the third word? Like, or like so long?
I assumed it had to be like "fuck you, little bitch" or something.
I thought it was like "fuck you, cunt" or something terrible.
I don't think kids were saying "cunt" back then. That wasn't as
I
widely
guess.
used as it
Bitch,
is today.
asshole, like whatever. But no,
Yeah.
she confirmed somewhere that it was like "fuck you, Guyland." Or
I love when these kids cuss because they like feel so free to do it because there's no parent around, but they don't drop it as often as they probably want to still.
Dude, that though out Sophia's mouth, that seemed harder than it should have been.
Oh my God.
Like if someone said fuck you to me, I'd be like, yeah, fuck you too. But like this seemed like
okay, but as a child in a child town, this what I would have gasped.
Mallory's ears are bleeding. Alex doesn't know what to do with himself.
Okay, but people also agree. Greg asks who would also say that to him, and like half the town raises their hand.
Greg's the worst. He has to stop. No, already though,
Greg
like
loves to bully people.
The fuck you was, I think, in a sense, not warranted because Guyland was probably asked, Guyland, what do you think about Red taking the most, but finishing last? And I'm sure Guyland was pissed because he has a smaller team, so he's probably fucking like, some people wanted to get first and not take
get
more
the reward.
rocks.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was like asked directly, right? So then Sophia saying "fuck you, Guyland," I think was a little out of pocket, but like fine for the drama, fine. But for Greg, then the oldest fucking kid here, to be like, who else would say that to Guyland? And everyone raises their hand. That was just,
that's so true. It probably was a pointed question.
Dude, as someone who knows reality TV, Guyland's not just saying like, hey, Mr. Bonanza, I think that, no, he's
not the type, especially.
He was asked as the Red town council member. He answered. Sophia got offended, so she said that. Everyone gasps and or laughs. Guyland's already embarrassed because he was, I mean, when you're 12 and you're swore at by a 14-year-old girl, you're like, fuck, dude.
Yes.
Everyone laughs, so you're already like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then Greg, this 15-year-old psychopath, has to be like, let's poke this 12-year-old some more. He's so pathetic, dude. I hate Greg. I felt bad for Guyland. I
did too. Well, honestly, the whole town should feel bad because we see what the reward could have been, and it was either
fuck you.
Beds for the whole town.
Yeah, fuck you.
Or a kids' lounge camper, which that doesn't even matter. But like, to know we could have had beds. This is why I like that they keep the rewards a secret. Because had they known, I think everybody would have sacrificed their status to win this reward.
I wish someone then had said, fuck you, Greg, for not taking more.
I would be so upset because we still have like 2 weeks to go.
No, literally, fuck you, Greg. You're going to sit here and bully this 12-year-old? You could have muscled at least 100 more pounds. Do you see what fucking Blaine's doing with nothing?
And, like, not even risked it to be laborers. Like, maybe you would have been merchants if you would have taken 40 more pounds.
Dude,
Not
yeah,
that would have, like, specifically that 40 pounds would have tipped them over the edge. But if everybody had just paused a few more seconds.
Guyland has a right to say what he did because his district picked the most.
That was insane that they did.
They did the most, and they got scrawny-ass Mike. Mike can't even lift a hamburger half the time. And here he is pushing rocks, and you got dumbass Greg over here who's like, I'm the biggest and the baddest. You can't even take... Blaine single-handedly did way more than you. You're useless. Now you're bullying kids. Literally, and also if you look at the screenshot when he was like, who else would say fuck you to Guyland or whatever? Michael and Sophia did not raise their hands.
Oh, I didn't.
I just know Sophia was like, this wasn't meant to do this.
Yeah, no, like it was just her responding, not her trying to bully, like have the entire town bully him over.
No, she was just like, I'm offended by that. Fuck you, Guyland.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, we're gonna bully. No, fuck you, Greg. And I hope, Greg, you have nothing better to do but listen to this stupid little podcast where we talk about your stupid little show you were on when you were 15 years old and an absolute fucking loser. And let me tell you, you are welcome on here anytime and I will throw hands at you. Like, literally, I will destroy you verbally. I will verbally kill you easily. No way. This dude sucks.
Okay, let's move on.
Anyway.
Well, yes, let's.
Oh, I'm so mad.
We don't need Greg. 25 more minutes of a Greg rant.
Whatever I said about having a crush on Greg, it's Blaine. And Blaine's my one true.
Okay.
That's who my 14-year-old would love.
Well, it's the nighttime now, and Taylor and Randy are sitting in the yellow bunks, and they miss their bed so bad, and they are absolutely sobbing. Yeah, they all just want to go home, and it's just been a really trying time for them. Randy especially, like she wants to be at home and Taylor is trying to get her to stay. I think if Randy leaves, like Taylor's like, who else do I have here? Or how long should I stay? It's just chipping away at them.
Yeah, she's lost her minions. She only has Randy left.
But Zach is outside and he is making fun of the girls for crying. And this made me kind of sad. Like, people just love to kick people when they're down.
Zach's terrible. Yeah, whatever. Boys suck.
Boys do. Well, it is now day 27 and Hunter is up before the sun rises, which like, I don't understand how these kids wake up without like an alarm clock. I was not like this when I was a kid.
I was. My mom woke us up every day at 7.
Yeah, but your mom did.
Yeah, but then naturally your clock becomes.
Okay, but if you're in a town where there's nobody waking up, you're slowly going to like keep sleeping in.
They have a curfew. No, I have never in my life slept in.
Oh my gosh.
I have made it to maybe 9 a.m. That is as late as I've gone.
Oh my God, really? Summers, me and my brother used to be able to sleep till like 1 or 2 p.m. But then you like start staying up later, so then it feeds into like the next
Over the summer, my mom would be like 7 a.m. and we were up with the sun. And so your alarm clock just like to this day, I am up even when I'm out until 1 a.m. I am up at 8. Like
if I'm drinking, I can wake up early. That's just because my body is coming off alcohol.
It doesn't matter. I'm up by 8 a.m. every day.
Damn.
Yep. Well, I get it, Hunter.
He is going to do a bunch of work, and he wants to work really hard, and he wants to get noticed in the Green District. As we know, 4 people already have gold stars, so it's kind of hard to get noticed.
It's hard in there.
And Hunter's actually really upset that there is so much trash around town. We already dealt with some trash in a previous episode, but we have that mud pit kind of in the middle of town still, and people just throw shit in it, and it really bothers Hunter, and this would piss me off too. Like, why does it need to be thrown in a bunch of like mud?
I hate kids.
So Hunter gets one of those little trolley things, and he cleans it all up, throws it in the trash area. So he's working hard over there.
Love Hunter.
Next, we see Sophia. She actually goes up to Guyland and apologizes for what she said.
Rightfully so.
I love a good apology tour. These kids are actually pretty decent about sending them out.
This was really good. Also, when you're an older kid, you have to take some responsibility here.
Yeah. Again, I think, honestly, had Greg not done what he did, I don't think Sophia would be as apologetic, but I think she's sad for where it went.
It could have been a discussion, and Greg made it a terrible moment.
Agreed. And Guyland hates being on town council. If he were to do it again, he would not run again.
Dude, I fucking get it. Town council seems fucking miserable.
You were
And
set up for
I
failure.
said I would never run. I would always want to be the number 2. And
But I don't think I would know that until this second town council, I feel like feels it the most because they were voted in, that people had like a voice in this one. I feel like they feel a little bit more strongly about their like the choices town council
True.
makes.
Very true. Which is crazy because last episode, town council was like hero.
Yeah, it really goes up and down, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Well, for Yellow, Blaine wakes up the Yellow District. He wants everybody to get working. And I was like,
I love Blaine.
Blaine, so mature. And he doesn't just like bark, he barks orders at them to like get up. But when they go to work, he tells them exactly what he needs them to do, which actually is so smart because I bet a lot of these kids, it's a type where they're not going to go finding work.
They've never washed dishes. They're 10 years old. Okay. You have to explain certain things.
Also, I think you got to give them bite-sized tasks to do. If you're like, hey, wash these 10 dishes, they're less likely to say no to that than wash all of these dishes sitting here.
But the way Blaine says it is really nice. And he's out there too working with them. So he's like, here, I'll do 10, you do 10.
We got this. Like, you sweep over here. How about you clean up this area? And they're all doing it together. So the camaraderie really is there.
I love Blaine.
And I think her name Kelsey, Minion number 1.
Yeah.
She really thinks that Blaine should be the town council leader over Zach. But I think sometimes we got to accept that there can be leaders and we can have our town council, but we need to have other leaders outside of town council. Yeah. Like when we break town council down so hard, you're losing them as a just normal everyday leader too.
Yeah, Zach and Guyland are going to get off this.
And they're not going to want to do anything.
No, I wouldn't either. I get it.
I wouldn't.
People are harsh, dude. Yeah. Kids are a fucking mess.
Well, it's going a little bit better over on the Blue District. Emily likes being in blue. She is an upper class person, but she decides she is going to help with dishes, which I think she's trying to prove herself a little bit. She's trying not to be wasted space over on blue.
She is now friends on blue with cool older girls, and she doesn't want to lose them.
She thinks she's friends with them, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, whatever. But she doesn't want to lose them in her mind, which is fair. Don't.
Well, it is now nighttime, and Randy is still crying in her bunk for the second night in a row. She really misses her family, and she's just absolutely sobbing.
Yeah, she's a mess.
And Greg sees Randy and Taylor, and Greg goes to comfort Randy, and he actually picks her up and carries her to bed, and she like knows that she can lean on him if she is really sad. But again, the town council, or like the entire town, knows that Greg is a menace. But when they like really need an older kid to like comfort someone, Greg does step up. I think he realizes like when it is just bullshit town stuff, he likes to play that game. But when like somebody actually is like dealing with a hard time, I will give him that credit that he does.
It's your toxic dad. Yes. Okay, you broke your arm, he'll take you to the hospital, but then later he's going to berate you and probably bully you. And also, he's picking on, again, in a family dynamic, you always go for, like the toxic, I don't know, parents always have their favorites to pick on.
Yeah.
And then they're always nice to some.
Yeah,
that's what's happening. Fuck Greg. I don't even care. It used to be one act of kindness. I could be like, oh, he has a heart. No, fuck you. I'm done.
Win you over?
No, I'm done with him. Done with Greg.
It's now day 28, and everybody is standing in line for Gold Star suggestions, and the town council listens to everybody's. And the biggest people, or the 2 names on the list, are Blaine and Hunter. So we go to our town.
I think Blaine is ridiculous. You do 1 week of like, that's ridiculous.
I think he needed to be given not the extent of the Greg treatment, but a little bit of the Greg treatment, because where have you been for weeks on end?
With Greg causing mayhem.
Exactly.
But also, did Devad vote for herself? I forget.
I didn't. Devad's name was not brought up. We only saw people voting for Blaine and Hunter.
I bet Devad voted for herself.
I bet so too.
So there were 3 names. Anyway, go on.
So it's now time from the town hall, and Mr. Bonanza asks if everybody approves of the town council.
Boo! Down with town council.
People say that it is fair to split up Greg and Blaine because they are so strong, which is true. Greg thinks Mallory is more of a man than Anjay.
That was, again, so rude. Like, it's so below the belt sometimes.
Greg just wants to tear everybody down.
He's mean.
Sophia thinks it is selfish of Laurel to have Green all stay together, and Anjay pipes up, and Laurel and Anjay start bickering over this.
Dude, but it is.
I appreciate Sophia calling it out, being like, hey, I benefited from this, but this wasn't fair. Like, our whole week or like last few days were all about fairness and equity.
Yeah. I love Sophia. I'm so team Sophia. Anyway.
I am too. She really is like the moral compass, I feel like, of this town.
I love her, yeah.
Well, does anybody want to leave? We do have somebody who raises their hand. Randy wants to go home. And it starts raining. And everybody like pauses and is like, Randy, this is a sign you should stay.
No,
and I was
that's
like,
a sign to get the fuck out.
I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Run for your life, Randy.
Well, Randy is going to go home, which is kind of sad, and Taylor is absolutely sobbing. And
you let Randy leave, Zach.
Adios, Randy.
It's nice. Not Zach's fault. Taylor's literally like, Zach, I can't believe you've done that. No, Randy's a 12-year-old girl who misses her mom. She's going home.
Like she's been
DK's 14. You could convince him, but like
she's been here for 28 days.
She's done.
That is
plenty.
That's
the halfway point. Yeah.
Let her go.
I would have been gone after week 1. I'm telling you, all these kids impressed the hell out of me.
I agree. Well, now it's time for the gold star, and we give it to Blaine. Again, I don't think he should have deserved this after.
I think Blaine at some point deserves the gold star, but I didn't think it was here.
Give it to me next week. Like, one more. It's honestly every week, quote unquote, or every episode is like 3 days. So, like, give it to him in 3 days.
Yeah, let him prove himself a little bit. Poor Hunter's over here, just like dying for gold star.
Well, he's waking up at 7 a.m. Everybody's asleep. They don't see him working.
They're just like, oh, the fairies came and got water. No, bitch, it was Hunter.
I agree.
Greg was busy vandalizing the town, but Hunter, not him.
Well, that isn't where this town hall ends. And Mr. Bonanza says, with all the drama of changing districts, who approves of the town council? And only Blaine raises his hand because, I mean, Blaine just got the gold star.
He's
so how
an
could
original,
he not?
Baby. Yeah, he's not a follower.
No. Well, everybody else disagrees. They do not approve of this town council. And so Mr. Bonanza says, does anybody else feel like it's time for an election?
This was ridiculous. You can't just throw an election at me. You need to give me time to understand my choices and hear both sides.
I agree. Like,
anxiety.
Last time we got to do posters and have speeches
I
and
want
campaign.
Another campaign trail for these kids.
I thought when Mr. Bonanza first mentioned it, I thought next episode would be elections, but no. Who wants to run right now? And we have our ballots and we are going to vote. What is going on here? But we know that DK wants to run for red, Blaine for
That's a
yellow.
Good choice. That's a fine choice.
Greg for blue.
No. No. Even Sophia was like, please no. It's no. Oh my God.
Everybody's freaking out by that one. And then is anybody going to run against Laurel? And Michael raises his hand.
All right. I love Michael. But we got a town council of all dudes coming for? No, this is ridiculous. Also, I just feel like everyone should have a vote for every town council member.
I don't. I do think that you should be able to get representation for your district, but I think maybe you should be allowed to vote on who is up for election.
Yeah, like there should be
like a primary.
There should be 3 in every party, and then you pick 2, and then you vote just in your district.
I think that would be fair.
Yeah, because my God, Green does not want Greg up there, and I get it. The anxiety I felt for
nobody. It's not just Green. Everybody is stressed.
Blue seems fine.
Well, that shows you how much they hate Anjay. They would rather have Greg.
I was like, Olivia, put your hand up. Like, literally, I was like, Olivia, please put your hand up.
That's so true. Olivia could have won in a landslide in this one.
Olivia, please put your hand up. Olivia should have put her hand up. I think Blaine for yellow is the only option at this point.
I agree.
Red, you could add probably a few different people in there. We don't know the background characters as much, but I'm sure there's someone on red that... But DK's a good choice.
DK,
Green could have been anyone. You could have given me anyone, and I would have been like, great choice.
And this is why we should have shaken up the districts a little bit more, because guess what? We could have had different people doing town council.
Politically, you should have shaken the districts up more, so I could have gotten more options.
Let's gerrymander the hell out of these districts to get everybody, like old Green members, all in charge.
I can't believe we didn't do a public picking. Kickball that shit and pick teams.
I agree.
Oh my God, I would have lived for it. Anyway, go on.
We end there and we get a to be continued. And all I have to say, in case Bravo listens to our podcast, is this is how you do a to be continued.
Because now I'm stressed.
Yes, this is a real cliffhanger. And we have only had one. This is our, 9th episode?
Yep.
And this is our first to be continued? Yeah.
Should only be one, yeah. Okay, so since this was very blue team heavy, green team heavy, don't listen to me, I have a green team member for you to tell you about. We haven't seen her. No, we haven't seen this one in a while, but she is a gold star winner.
Morgan.
It's Morgan. Thanks for getting it. It's Morgan. And Morgan's actually really cool. So... Morgan currently lives in... I have, like, very current stuff on Morgan because she's doing cool stuff. So, Morgan lives in New York City.
Very nice.
And in 2019, Morgan performed in the Puerto Rico tour of the musical Hamilton, for which she has been on the ensemble and the understudy in the whole U.S. tour. So, she's a musical girly. She plays one of the Schuyler sisters. God, it's going to bug me that I don't know exactly which one, and I'll look it up as we're talking about her. But
wait, is she still in the tour?
It is so funny you mentioned that. So if you don't know how like musicals, oh my God, I chipped a nail. Sorry. If you don't know how musicals really work, there's usually the original cast is on Broadway in New York. And then, well, this is how New York musicals work. And then there is an ensemble tour group that goes to like Chicago, LA, I don't know.
There'll be the version that stays in a city, like the major cities. Like Chicago will have one where it comes for like 6 weeks, and that'll be a cast. But then there's also the traveling ones that go from town to town. I'll call it.
Yes.
For like a
so
few
she
days.
was in the
just the one that went to Puerto Rico.
She was the Puerto Rico one where she was like there for a long time, but she also did the traveling ensemble throughout the USA.
Oh my gosh.
So it depends. Sometimes they'll get, commissioned to stay in Chicago for 6 weeks, and sometimes it'll be like a 2-week show. Just depends. But so yeah, she did that. Very cool. She played Eliza, the main love interest of Alexander Hamilton. And so then I looked her up and I was like, what the fuck is she doing now? Is she still in Puerto Rico? No, she's actually currently in the New York Broadway Hamilton production. So she's currently performing. She started performing in July in New York. And I was like, fuck, I just saw this musical twice last summer. And now she's here this summer. So, but she plays Eliza in there in New York right now.
And again, like it just further confirms that these people all were show business people, but wow.
And I don't know if I could pick her out of a crowd, probably not, but she's all around New York City, and 3 days ago she was in Ireland. Not that matters, but she's cool, no?
Wow. I honestly think she is cool my favorite update yet.
Because she's actually like doing cool shit. Yeah. So yeah, she's in New York, and part of me is like, do I go see her? Do I spend the money to go see this girl?
And you're like, hey, do you want to come on
I
my
wait
podcast?
by the door, and I'm like, big fan, Kid Nation fan. Do you still have your gold star?
There's no way they got to keep those.
Meredith, I have fallen down.
At first, I thought that there was just one that they just kept re-handing out, But when they were showing them off at the start of this episode, I was like, damn.
Meredith, I know way too much about the show, and I
Okay.
will tell you about the gold stars in
Okay.
a different episode because I
At
know.
the end, just
I know what
wait.
happens.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that's Morgan. Green team strong. Boston strong, you know? Green
Oh my
team.
gosh. All right. Well, I think that's
Amazing.
everything.
Great. Check us out. All the stuff is in our description, like I said earlier. And that for you is Kid Nation.
Thanks for joining. Bye.